حبيبي تعرفي تسجلي المحاضرة؟ عايز اسمعها بعد كده.
هلو أحمد سامعني؟
سامعك.
اوكي تمام. أنا بس عايزة أعرف هو كده بيريكورد لوحده ولا إيه؟
أنا مش عارف الصراحة.
هو المفروض عندي إن هو عامل ريكوردينج، لأن أنا في الأوبشنز لما دوست على بيقول لي ستوب ريكوردينج.
تمام، هو بيريكورد طلع على الشاشة على الشمال.
اوكي تمام.
بقول له ايه بقى؟ لا بقول له ايه؟ انا كنت اقعد معاك 8 ساعات في الشركه. انا مش
Guys, should I start or wait 5 minutes for more people to enter? Okay, hi guys. My name is Mary Andros and I'm from Egypt. Today I will talk about a very interesting topic, which is financial lease. But before I shall start, I would like to know more about the participant. So please, each one, can you present yourself?
أحمد سعد شغال في مجلس الدولة فرع دفتر
Okay, thank you, Ahmed.
مساء الخير، أنا عادل متولي، أنا بزنس أناليست. يعني شغال مع شركات كتير، لأن أنا شغال في شركة كونسلتنسي، من ضمنهم حاجات فاينانشال، فمهتم بالسيشن بتاعت النهارده.
Okay, thank you, Ahmed. That's very interesting.
عادل.
Oh, sorry, Adel. Ahmed, I'm sorry, but it's very noisy around you. I can't hear you. Okay, who else would like to present himself or herself?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, أنا اسمي آية. أنا الباك جراوند بتاعتي صيدلة، مش business، بس I'm interested in business.
Okay.
بقالي فترة يعني this is why أنا النهاردة موجودة معاكم في السيشن.
Okay, thank you, آية.
أنا أحمد ليلى. أنا electronics engineering student، بس مهتم برضو بالبيزنس، وحابب أعرف يعني عن المجال أكتر.
Welcome, أحمد. Okay, so anyone else would like to talk, or shall I start? Okay, so I will start the session today with the interesting topic, which is financial lease. So, but please confirm I'm sharing the screen with you. So can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So this is the agenda for today. Financial lease terms. These terms are important to know if you would like to know more about the financial lease. And another topic or headline, which is advantages of financial lease. Why you go to the financial lease? Why you didn't head for the operating lease? Then we will talk about the financial lease options. What are the options or the assets that you can buy by financial lease massive? And then we will have some financial lease companies here in Egypt or in Saudi Arabia. And then we will have a model of the Excel, how to work the financial lease. Okay, so first I will start with a background about the financial lease. And it's not a recent field here in Egypt. It started since 1970, but it started to be advanced since late 1990 or 2020. 2000. Okay, so a lease is classified as financial lease. We have two main principles here, the lessor and the lessee. And in the terms, we will understand what is the difference between lessor and lessee. Okay, so what is the concept of financial lease? It's kind of lease, like if you have an apartment and you have lease for the apartment, so the financial lease is the same as the lease for an apartment or any kind of lease. And it's also similar to the loans that you go to bank and have it from the bank. But there are some differences and advantages for the financial lease. So we will go one by one, and these terms, this slide and this slide, contain the main items in the financial lease contract. So the first one is the lessor, and lessor is the owner of the asset. For example, if I'm leasing an apartment, so the landlord is the lessor. And the lessee is the person who go to the landlord to rent this apartment. And we have also asset. Asset is the equipment or the thing that you would like to finance. It could be an apartment, it could be a house or a vehicle, a machine, equipment, anything. Guys, tell me if I'm going so fast. Okay.
No, تمام
Okay.
جدا.
Okay, thank you. And one important item or term is the lease tenure. Lease tenure refers to the number of years. This could be, or here in Egypt, it's normally between 3 to 7 years. It should not be less like 2 years, or it shouldn't be 8 or 10 years. If it's 8 or 10 years, we will go to the operating lease, which is not our topic for today, because this is for assets that are very expensive, such as aircraft, because the cost is between $20 to $30 million. That's why they go with operating lease, not financial lease. Okay, so if you went to a bank before for a loan, you will hear the following terms are too much, which is principal and interest. So what is the difference between principal and interest? For example, if I go to the bank for 100K, this is the principal. But when I pay back the money, I will not pay only the 100K. I will pay the 100K plus like 10 or less % like interest. So the money that is extra of the principal, this is interest. And we call it that this is the cost of borrowing. If you would like to borrow money, you have to pay for it. So this is the interest. And for the interest, we have two types of interest, flat rate or compounded interest. Flat rate is the fixed rate, like you will pay 3% for your installment. This will be like if you divided the 100K that you borrowed from the bank for 5 or for 6 years, you will have a fixed amount each month or each quarter. That depends on periodicity of paying, and then you will pay a fixed percentage of this amount each month. So you pay principal plus interest each month. But some banks or some companies, they don't charge you fixed interest, they charge you compounded interest. Compounded interest, this is they add the principal and the interest to the outstanding. And this is tricky. It seems that it's less interest, but if you calculate this to the total amount or the total transaction, it will be higher than the flat rate. Also, it's important to know the LIBOR and corridor. if you are borrowing money with US dollar or any other foreign currency, you will have to pay the LIBOR. And the LIBOR, it's interest, but this interest will be paid to the central bank, such as the corridor. This is the same as LIBOR, but this is for the Egyptian currency, if you are borrowing with Egyptian pound. So you have to know what is the corridor percentage according to the CBE, Central Bank of Egypt. And this interest is changed like 3 or 4 times per year. I do remember that it's now 9.25%. That's why if you go to the bank, they will charge you like 17%, but not actually the 17% is net to the bank. We deduct the corridor percentage, and this will be to the central bank, and the difference will be for the bank. Okay, guys? Okay, guys, are you following? Oh, sorry. Okay, I thank you. Okay, so we have also the finance or the finance leasing company or the leasing company, and this is the legal owner of the asset for the duration of the lease. And why I say only the duration of the lease, because in the financial lease, at the end of the lease contract, the asset will be to the lessee. So the lessor is not anymore the owner. The lessee will become the owner of the asset, because he or she already paid the total amount of the asset. So at the end, the asset will go to the lessee. In Egypt, we have the regulatory authority that regulate the financial lease companies, which called FRA, Financial Regulatory Authority. Actually, this is the authority, the governmental authorities that issue all acts or any announcement related or regulates the financial service industry in Egypt. We have also the rentals, or maybe you will hear the word installment. Installment, this is the sum of the rental or obligations that you are required to pay under any lease. Such as this, in our case, this will be the principal plus the interest that we said from the beginning. Periodicity, this is the period that you pay the rent, maybe monthly, quarterly, annually, and actually this will be by agreement between the lessor and the lessee. But it can't be like daily or weekly, it should be monthly, quarterly, annual. So here in this slide, we have what's important to know in the lease option. So for example, we have a house and you would like to finance this house. So you will go to the financial lease company, and the financial lease will pay the 100% cost of the house. And maybe you will pay like 10 or 15% like deposit for the financial lease company, and you will take the home. With accordance to the leasing company, you will agree about the period of the tenure of the lease, such as 3 years, 5 years, 6 years. And sometimes it's agreed to not pay anything, not pay any percentage. Like the finance lease company will say they will pay the 100%, and the installment will be to the total cost. But some companies, if the lessee is not like the credit rating is not that high, they will ask you to pay 10 or 20, 30% of the cost of the house, and then will finance the 70 or the rest percentage. Okay, so now what are the advantages of financial lease? Why I will not go to the bank and I prefer to go to the finance lease company? There are multiple advantages, such as there is no huge amount of capital is required. As I said in the previous example, if you would like to buy a house, and this house costs like 1 million EGB, and you don't have this amount now, you only have to pay like 10 or 20%, and then you will have an installment. So it's better for SMEs or for individuals to use a financial lease. And if you would like to ask me, so why I will not go to a bank and ask for a loan? Okay, you will have a huge problem, which is collateral. Collaterals, this is like securities that required by the banks. And if you are individual and you went to the bank, the amount guaranteed to you is not that high. It will based on your income or on your assets available. And if you are like still youth or you don't have enough money, you will not succeed to have this loan from the bank. Another advantage is that the leasing financing companies' terms are very flexible and are based on customer cash flow. For the bank, they have like a form and you have to follow the form. There's no exceptions. But for the financial companies, they are very flexible. Like if this term is not okay for you, they can change or they can replace it with another term. And also for the cash flow, they don't look at the history of your company or if you of your income if you are individual, but they will only consider the cash flow on this project. For example, if you would like to purchase a printer to use it for a business, they will not see if you have enough money for your life. No, they will see how you manage your project. If this project will be profitable, if you will be able to pay the interest and the principal based on the cash flow comes from this printer. If yes, you will succeed to get this loan. But for the bank, they will not consider it like this. They will have to check your history as a person, not only on your specific project. Financial lease options is also important for the managerial level. If they would like to have decision very speedily, very quickly, they can't wait for the bank because the procedures of the bank takes like maybe 20 days or maybe more. But for the financial lease, it will take only like 10 days. 10 days and you will be guaranteed with the amount of money you would like to take. The leasing company also focus on the ability to generate cash flow. This is what I said, like if you have it for a project, they will only care about this project, not all the company. And if your financial statements are not like profitable, if you have like a study for this project and this study guaranteed that you will generate profits, you will get the loan. And also your cash required for the leasing is very little compared to if you would like to buy it with your own money. Okay, here they are some of the top financial lease companies, specifically in Egypt. We have Increase, we have Corp Lease, we have CF Leasing, and actually CF Leasing is specifically for aircraft and aircraft equipment, not for vehicles or for real estate like other companies. And we have BM Lease. And by the way, BM Lease is Bank Must Release. And this started in the late 20 years when banks started to see that this is emerging market in Egypt, the financial lease company. they started to have a branch at the bank, each bank to have a branch, and this branch is a separate entity, but it's related to the bank. And this entity is the financial lease company of the bank. For Saudi Arabia, we have a company called Yanal Finance Company. This company was established in 2001, and this provides service to business and individuals, not only to small businesses. And this is actually very important because in Egypt, financial lease companies only care about SMEs, but for individuals, they are not entered to this field hugely. Here another companies, we have RX, we have Corplease, you have El Yosr, we have Rafi'at Al Khalij. And here is the financial lease options. What options you would, if you would like to apply for it? We have commercial vehicle lease, equipment lease, plant and machinery, finance and saving for real estate, computers, even systems or operating software, production lines. And production lines, this is very important for companies in the production because they are very expensive and sometimes they don't have the capital required. So financial lease is the awesome option for them. And other assets, but the assets, it should be not less than 2 million EGP, because it doesn't make sense to make an installment for 3 or 5 years in small amounts. So this is the process. We have the lessor, and lessor at the beginning of the lease, he is the owner of the asset. At the end, the lessee will become the owner of the asset. And by the way, we have a financial lease contract and we have a sale contract. At the beginning, both lessor and lessee sign both contracts. And at the end, the lessee will buy the asset from the lessor with only $1 or 1 EGB. And here during the lease tenure, we have the lease agreement or the lease contract. And this that govern our terms based on the country the financial company or the financial lease company is in. Okay, so guys, so far, do you have any questions? Okay, so I have a question from Muhammad. He says, what assets are recommended to be taken under finance lease versus operating lease? Okay, Ahmed, so by the way, I'm working in a financial lease company. And mainly we work in aircraft because the aircraft cost is very expensive. Sometimes I buy an aircraft with $40 million. So in this case, I can't go to the financial lease option. Why? Because as I said, the financial lease tenor is from 3 to 7 years. So if I ask you to divide $40 million to 7 years, the installment will be very high. Okay, so I will not go to this option if the asset is very expensive. I usually go to the financial lease if the asset is maximum $4 or $5 million. And in this case, the tenor will be the maximum, will be 7 years, because basically I go to the financial lease option because I have problem in the capital. I don't have enough capital to pay. So I prefer to go to the financial lease. Another point, Muhammad, you should know is in the operating lease, at the end of the lease, the asset is not owned to the lessee. Because in the operating lease, you only operate this asset for time of period of time like 5 or 7 or 10 years, and at the end the asset will go to the lessor to use it again or to lease it again to another lessee. Okay, I have another question. في فرق بين التمويل العقاري والإيجار التمويلي. Okay, I do think that أحمد يمين التمويل العقاري اللي هو كانت مبادرة أو حاجة لسه معمولة، هي دي اللي أنت قصدك عليها؟ أوكي بالظبط. لا، التمويل العقاري أو اللي هي شقق الإسكان دي حاجة منزلها الحكومة، فدي ملهاش علاقة بالتأجير التمويلي. أنت هنا الأسيت بيبقى تكلفته قليلة قوي، يعني أنا اللي فاهمان التمويل العقاري دي مبادرة معمولة للشباب وحاطين فيها سعر قليل للشقة، فأنا مش هينفع أروح أعمل لها تأجير تمويلي لأنها نازلة اوريدي مع بنوك معينة. يعني في اوريدي بنوك تمويل بتعمل تمويل عقاري، هي مخصصة بتدخل في initiatives مع مثلا الحكومة أو مع أي حاجة عاملة شقق للشباب، وبيبقى هو ده البنك أنت للأسف ما تقدرش تدخل عنه. يعني أنت لو شاري شقة بالتمويل العقاري هو بيكون جايب لك اوريدي البنك معاه. لكن لو أنا say for example أنا I would like to buy an apartment or compound مثلا في حتة ب2 أو ب3 مليون، في الحالة دي لو مفيش بنك اوريدي جاي مع اللي هيديني الشقة، أنا ممكن أروح أعملها تأجير تمويلي، وده مشهور جدا دلوقتي. وكمان الإيجار التمويلي بيستخدموه أكتر لما حاجة تكون أغلى شوية. يعني ممكن لو مثلا مؤسسة شارية مثلا مبنى إداري، ممكن تعمل المبنى الإداري ده تأجير تمويلي. تمام كده يا أحمد؟ Okay. Any other questions before going to the model? Okay, it seems that you don't have any other questions. Okay, this is the model I'm working on at my company. And this is actually very important to know if you have any loan. So we'd like to know the exact percentage that the bank or the company is charging you. I will do an example with you. I would like just to show you how it is big. And this is for me as a leasing company, I have two parts. This part for the client, I would like to calculate the installment for the client. And if I have a bank to finance me, I will calculate the bank interest and principal here. So today I will only pay attention to, or I will focus only on the client, okay? So I will start from the beginning. Here I have the actual days. This is 360, the number of days by year. And I have here like description of the asset. What is the asset? I don't care now, but for the equipment cost, I said that it will be 1 million. Okay, I have here the name of the lessee or the name of the client. Okay, Ahmed says that, may I ask if you are sharing the Excel file? Yeah, you can see the Excel. Okay, I don't know why. Now you can see it. Okay, great. Thank you, guys. Okay, so here I will put the total cost or the 100%, which in my case will be 1 million. Okay, and here I have the lessee contribution. This can be 20, this can be 30, and this will automatically run. Okay, and here this will be the 30% or the 20% in this case. Okay, so if I would like to buy an apartment or a house that costs 1 million, the leasing company will ask me to pay a deposit, which is 20% of the 1 million. Okay, so this 20% will be 200K. So now I have 800K left that the finance company should finance me with. Okay, so how the finance company will calculate the amount? Okay, so here I should pay both the contract start date. For example, I will say May 1st. Okay, and the contract maturity date, this actually will run automatically from another cell. Here, the lease amount, which is 80%, the list of 100 minus 20%, which is 80% or 800K. Here I have the lease tenure. I can say 8 years, I can put 5, but this actually I will leave it 8 because I have the Excels here, the cells for 8 years, not 5. And I will show you how to make it 5. Periodicity of lease. I put here 12 because I would like to make it monthly. But if I would like to make it quarterly, I can say 4. Okay, but in my case, it's monthly, so it will be 12. So total lease payment will be 96. 96 is 12 months multiplied by the 8 years. So I have 96 months or 96 installment. Here I have the lease implicit interest. Okay, in this case, I should have 2 interests. I have the spread over that interest, and this actually is the gain to my company. Like I will put 3 or 3%, okay? And this is the spread over corridor or the corridor percentage. If I go back to the CBE, I will find that it's now 9.25%, okay? So this one should be the 3 plus 9.25. Okay, so the finance lease company will charge you 12.25%. But guys, pay attention. I'm not gaining all the 12% or the 12.25 because I will pay to the CBE or the central bank 9.25, and this is the corridor. So this is not a gain or it's not a loss. If I have a loan from the bank, I will pay the same amount. This is fixed. As I said to you, corridor or LIBOR, I will, there are some websites that I will check the corridor percentage or the LIBOR percentage on the day of the executed financial lease contract, and I will put this number here. Okay. Upfront fee, there is some fees that the finance company, financial lease company take, and this actually to register the contracts with the FRA. When you register contracts, you have actually you have to pay a lot of amount, and this is the amount. It's 1% multiplied by the 800, so it's 8,000. Okay, so here I have something called lease check. Okay, I have to find this one 0 to make the installment. Okay, so I will go to the end of the Excel. And I will use a function called what if analysis. This is, you go to data And under data, there is function called what if analysis. And then I will go to goal C. I will say أحمد بيقول لي نسبة الكوريدور دي بياخدها البنك المركزي. هي الفكرة في إيه أحمد؟ أنا مثلا كفاينانشال ليز كومباني أنا بجيب الفلوس بتاعتي إزاي؟ أنا برضو بروح لبنك، بس أنا طبعا بتبقى إجراءات البنك بالنسبة لي أسهل لأن أنا ببقى فاتحة معاه فاسيلتي أجريمنت، فاسيلتي باخد مثلا 150 مليون في السنة أو وات ايفر، يعني 7 مليون دولار. فأنا اللي بيبقى التمويل بتاعي جاي من البنك. البنك بيديني الفلوس، بيتشارج مي برضو انترست على الفلوس دي. بيبقى فيه نسبة زي ما قلت لك، في نسبة ثابتة وفي نسبة متغيرة. النسبة الثابتة اللي هي المكسب بتاع البنك، يعني مثلا سي هو هيقول لي 3%، 3% وانا هاجي هديك ب4 او 4.5، يبقى انا كسبت ال1.5. طيب بس انا هنا مدياك مثلا طلعت النسبه 13، طب هل ال 13 دي كلها انا كسباناها؟ لا، ما هو انا زي ما انا مدياك كوريدور، البنك واخد مني كوريدور نفس النسبه. فدي يعني انت بتاخدها من هنا بتديها للبنك، والبنك بيديها للبنك المركزي، فما بيبقاش فيها مكسب للبنك ولا للعميل. هي دي النسبه اللي حاططها البنك المركزي، اسمها تكلفه الاقراض. والتكلفه الثانيه اللي هو الانترست اللي بيبان لنا، هي دي اللي بتبقى متغيره ما بين بنك وبنك. لكن الكوريدور او اللايبر دي ما حدش بيكسب منها، هي في الاخر بتروح للبنك المركزي. تمام يا احمد؟ اوكي، ثانك يو. طيب انا بقى علشان اخلي العمليه بتاعتي مظبوطه او الاكسل to make it perfectly, how I will do it. I will say that I would like to set I would like to set cell this one to 0, because at the end of the lease I would like to make it 0. I have to pay all the installment, so at the end of the lease the asset will be owned to me. Okay, by changing what? I have to change the installment. Okay, and now it's done. Okay, how can I check if my calculations are right? I will go back and I will see. This is actually, I forgot to say this. This is the capital repayment. This should be at the end of the lease, the 800K that I already take from the financial lease company. So in my case, it's 800. And this is the interest that I have to pay for the 800. So I will pay the total 1,252,000. Okay. Any questions in this part? I will see here how to calculate this. This is the interest. So I will take the outstanding, which is 800K, or if I already paid 13,000, so it will become 786, and I will multiply by the number of days. Then I will divide it by the number of days by year, which is 365 or 360 here, and then I will multiply it by the interest. And when I say by the interest, you will multiply by the interest for the company plus the corridor or the library. And when I do the function, I will make each cell equal to the above. And here, as you say, that 13 is divided into interest and capital repayment or principal. So here the interest is 8,000 and the capital is 4,000. Would you like me to try if it's like 5 years? Okay, Adil said yes. Okay, so it's easy. I know that 5 years is 60. So I will stop. Okay, now I will start from here and I will delete all these cells. I will update the year and I will run this again. Okay, so now here I don't have it 0, so I have to make this number to 0. So again, what if analysis, goal seek, set this number to 0 by changing the installment. And before I click the installment, I'm pretty sure that this number will increase, definitely, because you deducted or you reduced the number of years. So now it's not 13, it's 17,000. Okay. Okay, guys, so I will go back to the PowerPoint. Any other questions at the end of the session? Okay, Ahmed asked, what is the minimum limit for a finance lease? What do you mean by minimum limit, for the amount of money or for the tenor? Okay, I do think that there is no like something valid or solid for the minimum, but I do think for me in my work, we didn't like finance less than 3 years. And the amount not less than 1 million, 1 million Egyptian pound. But for the maximum, I worked for 7 or sometimes for 8 years. And for the amount, like $3 million. And I will tell you why, because if you ask for less than, I will say, okay, so you have money for the short term. So why you would like to have a financial lease? Financial lease start from 3 and above. Okay, we have another question from Adil. Can we financially lease a legal permit such as those of major mining projects or banks? I don't understand what is legal permits. Do you mean patent or do you mean like projects? Adil, can you hear me? You need to pay a minimum amount of 2 million as legal fees for some projects. Can this be financed through leasing? I don't think so, but I can share with you a book from the FRA, the Financial Regulatory Authority here in Egypt. What are the services or the assets that could be financed and what is prohibited or you can't finance it? but I do think that this will not be finance. And this cannot be financed because I don't think that there is a guarantee that you will generate cash to pay back the interest plus the principal. So what do you think will be guaranteed for me as a financial company to make sure that you will pay back money? Okay, I will share it with you. Okay, welcome. Guys, any other questions? Okay, I do think that you don't have any other questions, and please let me know if there are some terms that you do not understand from the English concept, so I can say it in Arabic. Okay, Adil, I see your point. So if you have a feasibility study that makes sure that you will generate money, I do think that you can negotiate. What is good about the financial lease companies is that if this not prohibited by the FRA, like if it's kind of new finance, but you can sit with them, you can discuss, and if they like they are guaranteed that you will generate cash to pay money, they will not give you money and without paying back. I do think that they can agree, so you have to discuss more details about your project. But let me first check with the FRA if this kind, because I do think that anything in Al-Asar or there are some projects that is prohibited originally, so you can't ask any finance company to finance you. So I will check first and I will go back to you. Okay. Any other points? Okay, thank you so much, guys. I really enjoyed the session with you and the questions. And please, if you have any other questions, let me know. Okay, thank you, Ahmed. Okay, شكرا أحمد سعد. Thank you, Aya.